Hey, SoilSage family! So, let's be honest, crop rotation has been the golden rule of gardening for centuries. Don't plant tomatoes in the same spot every year, they say. Rotate your beans, greens, and roots, they insist. And yeah, crop rotation works, but what if I told you there's an even more powerful, simpler, and regenerative way to keep your soil thriving without constantly planning elaborate rotations? Stick with me because today I'm sharing a method that's revolutionized my garden beds. This isn't theory, it's what I practice season after season right here on SoilSage Chronicles. And once you try it, you might never look back. Crop rotation's main goals are solid: prevent nutrient depletion, interrupt pest and disease cycles, and encourage diverse soil life. But in small gardens or intensive raised beds, rotation quickly becomes a puzzle. What if you only have 2 beds? What if your family eats a ton of tomatoes and you don't have the space to move them around every year? I've been there, frustrated, juggling crop charts and feeling guilty for breaking the rules. Here's the thing, rotation is just one tool, not the only one. Healthy soil doesn't have to depend on moving crops around like chess pieces. Instead, what if we focused on building soil resilience so strong that pests, diseases, and nutrient loss can't take hold in the first place? That's where this strategy comes in. Instead of rotating crops, I build a living soil system that regenerates itself, using a combination of continuous cover, microbial inoculation, and organic matter layering. Think of it as creating a miniature ecosystem that works 24/7 beneath your feet. When you do this right, you're no longer reacting to soil problems, you're preventing them entirely. Let's break it down step by step. Bare soil is like an open wound. Every time you leave a bed exposed, sunlight and rain degrade its structure, microbial populations crash, and weeds move in. Traditional rotation often leaves gaps between crops. I do the opposite. I keep my beds continuously covered, all year round. In practice, this means planting fast-growing cover crops like buckwheat, mustard, or clover between main crops. I also interplant living mulches like white clover under slow growers such as brassicas or corn, and use thick organic mulch like straw, leaves, or shredded branches during resting periods. This living blanket feeds soil microbes, conserves moisture, regulates temperature, and suppresses weeds, all without moving a single crop. Over time, the soil structure becomes crumbly, rich, and alive. Here's my tip. After harvesting a heavy feeder like tomatoes, immediately sow a quick cover crop or mulch deeply with composted leaves. Don't wait a week, close that gap immediately. Here's the truth most beginners miss. Plants don't feed themselves, soil life does. Earthworms, fungi, and beneficial bacteria break down organic matter, cycle nutrients, and protect plant roots. The healthier your underground workforce, the less you need to manage your beds. Every season I give this workforce a boost with homemade inoculants like compost teas, worm castings, or fermented plant juices. These are living elixirs full of diverse microbes. I pour them into the soil, spray them on mulch, or water seedlings with them. Unlike synthetic fertilizers, these inoculants build long-term fertility instead of causing short-lived growth spurts. Pro tip: once a month, water your beds with diluted worm tea or a simple compost extract. Think of it as giving your soil a probiotic drink. If you've ever walked in a forest, you've seen how soil naturally stays healthy. Leaves fall, branches decay, fungi weave through, and the ground is always covered in organic matter. I mimic that in my garden using layering. At the end of each growing season, instead of pulling everything out and leaving bare beds, I chop spent plants at the base, never uproot unless diseased. Layer on compost, add a thick mulch of shredded leaves or straw, and water well to activate decomposition. This layered blanket slowly breaks down over winter, feeding soil organisms and recycling nutrients exactly where they're needed. By spring, I'm greeted by rich, dark soil teeming with life, ready for planting, no rotation chart required. Rotation relies on time-based diversity, meaning different crops each year. My method relies on space-based diversity, growing multiple kinds of plants together so the soil hosts a buffet of root exudates and microbial partners simultaneously. I use polycultures and companion planting, for example tomatoes interplanted with basil and marigolds, corn, beans and squash, the classic three sisters, and kale beds underplanted with clover. These combinations keep pest cycles off balance, encourage beneficial insects, and support a complex microbial web. Instead of one crop exhausting the soil, a community of plants shares and replenishes nutrients. Even if you love growing lots of tomatoes, diversify their neighbors. That alone can mimic the benefits of rotation. Rest doesn't mean neglect. Every few seasons I give a bed a biological rest period, but instead of leaving it empty, I fill it with dynamic accumulators or nitrogen fixers, like cowpeas, vetch, or buckwheat. These plants heal and rebuild the soil while outcompeting weeds. After 6 to 8 weeks I chop and drop the cover, letting it decompose right in place. This quick rest period resets the soil biology, replenishes organic matter, and prepares the bed for the next heavy feeder. No relocation needed. Crop rotation tries to avoid problems. Living soil systems solve problems at the root. By continuously covering, feeding, layering, diversifying, and resting smartly, you create a self-sustaining loop. Pests find it hard to establish because of diverse plant communities and active predators. Diseases struggle in well-aerated, microbially competitive soils. Nutrients cycle naturally without constant inputs. Soil structure improves year after year, not degrades. This method works in small gardens, raised beds, urban plots, and large homesteads. It's flexible, forgiving, and incredibly rewarding. When I stopped obsessing over rotation charts and started building living soil systems, I saw fewer pest outbreaks, even with tomatoes in the same spot 3 years running. Noticeably richer, darker soil with more earthworms, higher yields without synthetic fertilizers, less time spent planning, more time enjoying the garden. It's like the soil became self-repairing, and that's the ultimate goal. So here's my challenge to you, SoilSage family. This season, pick one bed and try this method. Keep it covered, feed the microbes, layer organic matter, plant diverse companions, and give it smart rest. Watch how your soil transforms, without moving a single crop. And when you see those earthworms wriggling through dark, crumbly soil, you'll know you've built resilience. If this article inspired you, imagine what we can grow together. Subscribe to SoilSage Chronicles for more no-fluff, experience-backed gardening wisdom. Share this article with a fellow gardener who's tired of complicated rotation charts. Let's keep spreading the soil magic, one garden at a time.